Hello folks, and welcome back to a new Bespoke Synth tutorial. Some of you asked for a video tutorial about the Songbuilder, so today I decided to record it, and I'm going to talk about the Songbuilder, which is a new module that can be found only if you use Bespoke Nightly Build version, which is an updated and improved version of Bespoke that is available on GitHub only. The link, anyway, it's in the video description down below. The Songbuilder can be found under Other, and let me zoom in. It's a powerful sequencer for music scenes. So let's say that you're making your own song and you have different sections of that song that you want to trigger in different times, or you have different instruments. Well, using the Songbuilder, you can control. It's like a master console that you can use to route and control each instrument or each part of your song. By default, it comes with preloaded synths. Here we have rows. Anyway, it works like matrix, and we're going to see where is the matrix in a few moments. Before doing so, the scenes are rows, so here we can rename scenes. We can set this to off, then intro. I'm going to use capital letters so it's easier to read, and main, I'm writing random names, and outro. For the purpose of this tutorial, I want to make things easier, as easy as possible, so we can get rid of these three rows. You can do so by clicking on this context icon. You can perform different actions like delete. You can duplicate an existing track, an existing scene, which is the only way you can create a new one. Or you can move it up, you can move it down. So let's delete these three scenes. And now we can add columns. Well, to do so, you need to click on this add target, and you add as many columns, as many targets as you want. Right now, I prepared this demo scene, this demo song, where we have three instruments. We can have a listen to each of them. So the first one, it's a drum sequencer. Then we have a bass line using the note sequencer. And finally, we have a sort of saw pad, something like that. Great. Now that the number of scenes and targets is defined, we can link each column to the corresponding instrument or section. The most common use of Songbuilder is that one that enable or disable an instrument. You can do so by clicking on the output pin, and you send your cable to the enable, disable pin of an instrument. As you can see, the Songbuilder can recognize to which target we linked our output pin, because using the enable or disable, we have two states, on and off. That's why here we have a checkbox where we can define the state off or the state on. Then we do the same, we perform the same action for the note sequencer and for the note canvas. Great. We can do an example for a different control type. So let's say that we want to, let's create a new column, and we want to control, using the Songbuilder, we want to control the rate of this LFO. As you can see, each of these parameters is highlighted with this magenta color, so we can link our output pin to the LFO rate. And by default, we have a number box inside the Songbuilder column. So for each different scene, we can define different LFO rates using also decimal numbers. And that's how you can assign different value types to modules. Now I want the off scene to be completely turned off. So I want all these three to be turned off. Then for the intro, I just want the pad, so the third one. For the main, I want all of these three sections to play together. And for the outro, I just want the bass line. When you link a specific column to a module, it will represent the module name on top here. If you want, you can change the module name, so you can make it bigger. You can inspect its detail. Here we have name. This is base, which is a more easy and understandable name. And it's even shorter. It's not that wide. So we apply, minimize. And here we can see that the name changed on top here as well. We can do the same thing for the drum sequencer. So we inspect its detail. This is drum. And here for node canvas, we can write pad, apply, minimize, much better. If you want, you can change the color of each column. So you move your mouse over this main cell. Here on the right side, we have different colors. So let's set, come on. Okay, yellow, orange, and this light blue. Now it's time to play, so we turn on the audio system. Let me start with the off scene. Every module is turned off. I bring up the volume. The default playback method used by Songbuilder is 1N. It will wait for the new measure to start to execute the next scene. So right now we have the transport bar showing in which measure position we are in, and we can also use a metronome to clearly understand where we are. As you have probably noticed, when we trigger a scene, it will wait for the new one to start, and it will flash green so that we understand that the Songbuilder is counting the beat of our measure. This is really cool, and it's, I think, the best method that you can use to control your song. We also have different triggering methods. We have jump, which essentially plays as the new scene as we press play, and it jumps at the beginning of the transport bar. So it reset the beat count of each measure. We can have a listen, take a look at the transport bar. Then we have switch that changes immediately. It doesn't move the transport bar back to the beginning. So let's have a listen. And finally, we have 2 and 3, which are variations of 1N. So instead of waiting for the actual measure to finish, we're going to wait for the next 2 measures and the next 4 measures to finish. Then we have this button on top here that is Use Sequencer. And here things start to become interesting, because as we press this Use Sequencer, we see that a new control panel appear. We have standard controls like play, stop, pause, and loop. So here we have a drop-down menu where we can select the order to which at which we want to play the scenes. We need to click on this stop icon. Let's say that I want to start with the intro, then I want the main and the outro. I can select the number of repetition, so I want an intro of 2 measures, main of 3 measures, and outro of 1 measure. We can play each individual scene using this play button that is the exact copy of this one. So nothing new right now. We have the context menu once again. To make things interesting, we need to turn on loop. And here we can specify the index of each scene. So I want to start my loop at scene index 0, so the first one, and index 2, which is the third one. As you can see, this, how it's called, square bracket, yeah, this square bracket encloses the intro, the main, and the outro. Now, when I press play, the Songbuilder will constantly loop again and again through this intro, main, and outro with the parameters we gave it. Last but not least, on the center top of the Songbuilder, we have activate first scene on stop. And what the tooltip says, it recommends the use of an off scene. That's why I wrote an off scene here. So we need to use the off scene, move it on top, move up, move up, move up. And I want the loop to be from index 1 this time to index 3. That's because each time we stop the Songbuilder, it will reset to the off scene. So this is a good practice to do. Bar length, I will say 1. So now if I play, I stop and it resets to the off scene. If I play once again, it restarts from the off. One last thing I want to say about the Songbuilder is that once it's playing, you cannot change these values, these checkboxes or numerical values on the fly. You need to stop the Songbuilder, make your changes and tweak these parameters, and then restart the Songbuilder. So that was all for today's tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if this tutorial was useful for you or if you enjoyed the content I make, please consider subscribing and leave a thumbs up so that I know that you like my videos. Anyway, thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one.